Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Empowered Aging. Today, we're talking about tolerating distress and finding joy in the small moments. I'm your host, Dr. Elise Snipes. Distress is anything that makes us feel vulnerable in some way. Distress triggers our fight or flight response. So, when we have physical pain, it actually triggers our fight or flight response. When we are stressed in our environment, we don't feel safe, it triggers our fight or flight response. Ongoing distress causes your fight or flight response to become too strong and too easily triggered. And a lot of us are aware of that. If we have had a life where we have been chronically stressed, we tend to recognize that we have more of a hair trigger on our stress response than maybe some people that we know. Types of distress, and this is not all-inclusive, this is just examples. Physically, when you don't get quality sleep, when you're in pain, or you're not getting the nutrition you need, or absorbing the nutrients from the food you eat, your body registers those as stressors. Interpersonally and intrapersonally, shame is a type of distress. When you don't feel good about yourself, when you feel embarrassed or ashamed, that's stressful. Relationship stress. If you're arguing with your significant other or the person down the hallway is gossiping and stressing you out, that's stress. That is distress. Emotionally, well, I didn't figure the need to explain that. Anger, anxiety, depression, grief, jealousy, envy, all of those unpleasant feelings are distressful. Cognitively, when we have brain fog, it is stressful. When you're having difficulty thinking, you have to work a lot harder to think, and your brain registers that as a stressor. Negative thoughts tell us we're not safe, we're not good enough, we're not whatever. Negative thoughts tell us that we are vulnerable and therefore trigger the stress response. And just simple mental overload is a type of distress. People who have hearing impairment often experience a lot of cognitive distress because they spend so much energy struggling to hear and decipher what's being said that it actually increases their stress, increases their inflammation, and causes a whole cascade of other effects that we keep talking about, like high blood pressure, high A1C levels, etc. Environmental distress. It's too hot, it's too cold, you're uncomfortable in some way, or you don't feel safe. And spiritual distress, for a lot of people, is characterized by having difficulty finding meaning in whatever happened. You're experiencing something and you're going, what the heck? Why me? Why now? Why this? Distress intolerance is what a lot of us have because we feel like, or we tell ourselves that we cannot tolerate the distress. The activating event is what happens. You're in pain, you experience a loss, you're ashamed of something, whatever it is. That's the activating event. The consequence of that event is you start feeling increased distress. But where does that come from? Well, that activating event happens, and then you tell yourself all of these beliefs automatically that may or may not be helpful. And generally, distress intolerant beliefs are unhelpful. Telling yourself, I can't handle this. My life is completely over. Those aren't helpful. Those are not empowering at all. Those are, in fact, disempowering. When you start to feel disempowered as a result of whatever's going on, then you start spiraling and you start experiencing more physical distress, distress in your relationships, emotional lability, cognitive distress, more difficult to think clearly, to remember, to problem solve, and more spiritual distress. Distress tolerance does not make the discomfort magically go away. It allows you to recognize the distress and that you are empowered to manage that stress. It won't consume you. It may feel like an incredibly heavy load, but it won't consume you. There are two different things we're going to talk about for distress tolerance. The first one is distress tolerant thoughts. This sucks, but I can get through it. This too shall pass. I can make it through this because I have the support of. Some people turn to their higher power. Some people turn to their significant other, their best friend. But recognizing that, yes, this is challenging for me right now, and I have somebody that can support me and help me get through this. I don't have to do it alone. Or just telling yourself something like, I've survived worse. You can also focus on the feeling. If you are anxious about test results, for example, that are coming in, but they haven't come in yet, and you're waiting for that phone call and you're stressed out about it, what good does being stressed about getting these results do for you? How is that a good use of your energy? You're stealing energy from the things that are important in your life to juggle these stress balls. You can also engage in distress-tolerant activities. And another mnemonic for you, I know, ADS. Accept, downregulate, distract, and seek support. So accept means accept what is. I'm waiting on these results from the doctor. I don't know what they're going to say. I'm a little worried about it. And I don't know what they're going to say. So getting stressed out that they're going to be bad may be wasting a lot of my energy because they may come back just fine. So I'm going to accept that I've got to wait. I'm going to accept that I don't know the answer. And then what am I going to do? I'm going to downregulate. When we downregulate, we're slowing our breathing and slowing our heart rate. Now, some people will do that by square breathing. You breathe in for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, and repeat. All right, that works for some people. Other people it doesn't work for. Singing. Singing is great because you project from your diaphragm. You take in a big breath and you sing loudly. That can help slow your breathing and slow your heart rate. When your heart rate and your breathing slow down, your brain says, oh, there's no longer a threat, so I can start relaxing. Blowing bubbles. Yeah, it may seem childish, but I still like to do it at my age. I have those little bottles that you can get for weddings, and I have one in my purse like pretty much all the time. But I can blow bubbles, and it makes me happy. That's fine. And finally, you can go on a walk. And I know you're thinking, well, if I go on a walk, isn't that increasing my heart rate? Well, yes, it is. But when you're stressed and you're sitting still and your heart rate's going like this, your brain goes out of sync. You know, if you're sitting still, your heart rate shouldn't be going that fast. Therefore, there must be something going on. When you go out and go on a walk, your brain says back in sync. Fast heart rate, walking, those things go together. So then when you stop walking, your heart rate starts coming back down. You kind of trick your brain into a reset. You can also distract yourself until you can get into your wise mind. If you continue to focus on whatever it is that's causing you distress, guess what? You're going to just keep feeding that stress. You're going to keep worrying. You're going to keep being angry about it. When you're feeding that stress, you're staying in fight or flight. And when you stay in fight or flight, you're not going to effectively assess the problem or problem solve. So distract yourself so you can downregulate. I try to avoid saying calm down because most people that word triggers them. So you can downregulate, get into your wise mind so you can problem solve. When you quit paying attention to it, again, your brain says, oh, she's not paying attention to that anymore, so it must not be a threat. I can chill out. When you have pain and you focus on it, pain starts to feel worse. When you have pain and you focus on something else, the pain starts to subside some. It may not go away completely, but you don't notice it as much. Distracting yourself with activities, with talking to somebody, with reading a book, with singing, whatever it is you can do to turn your attention to something else, even for 15 minutes, will help you downregulate your stress response so you can think more clearly. And S is seek support. We all need support. And when you're feeling stressed, you may get support from a human being or you may get support from your pet. But seeking support is super helpful because it causes your body to release a hormone called oxytocin. And oxytocin is, I call it our survival hormone. It helps us bond with those people and things that help keep us safe and defend ourselves against those people and things that are threats. So oxytocin is a great neurochemical. But the other neat thing about oxytocin is it is a very powerful regulator of our stress response. So when you're petting your dog, when you are talking to your best friend, you're actually releasing that hormone, which is helping you downregulate. As we age, our fight or flight response becomes too strong. There's a lot of reasons for that, but believe me, it does. The more it is activated, the more it becomes part of our autopilot. Distress tolerance helps you purposefully and intentionally turn down the volume of your stress response, which helps strengthen the relaxation response. It reduces inflammation in your whole body. It helps you think more clearly, and it helps reduce blood sugar and blood pressure. So there's a lot of benefits to trying to learn tools to downregulate that stress response. If this was helpful, please remember to click the like button and also click that subscribe so you're notified every time I release a new video.